What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we are back with the Destiny 2 weekly reset. We do have a new game update today, so we got some patch changes and things to cover on that front. Of course, this is supposed to be the day when Shadow and Order drops, or it was supposed to be the day. Bungie have now pushed that back until June, promising a major revamp to the update with an additional focus on quality of life, as we've covered. So yeah, I'm as disappointed as you guys that we don't have the Shadow and Order stuff today. Not that I was anticipating it would be some groundbreaking thing, but as always, I'll keep you posted on that when we get the info. But in this one, we'll cover the patch changes, we'll cover the Eververse rotation for the week, featured rewards, heads up from Bungie, and generally anything of interest in D2 for the reset. So if you do enjoy the video, a rating down below would very much help us out. Also, check out my new sponsor, Strafe Energy. If you're a real gamer looking for a caffeine hit with some very bold flavors, Strafe are totally worth checking out, and you can save 10% in the store by using code Houndish, so the details for that are below. Here though, as we get into the D2 stuff, as we mentioned, Shadow and Order no longer dropping this week, of course. I know I've been covering some marathon stuff and there's mixed feelings about that. I can absolutely promise you guys when we get Destiny 2 info, I'll be on it, quick as lightning, but otherwise Bungie, of course, are focusing heavily on their marathon launch this Thursday. And feel free to let us know if you'll be getting involved with that down below as well. Bungie actually caught me off guard today by dropping the marathon roadmap. Yes, it happened. We knew this was going to happen. So I'll add timestamps below for the D2 stuff, but in case you're curious, they've outlined for Marathon in Season 1, Death is the first step will be the start of a new gold rush on Tau Ceti. That's the beginning of a proxy war between rival factions competing for power and answers to what happened to the new Cascadia colony. As a runner, you're at the forefront of the expeditions. When you set foot on Tau Ceti, you'll find a hostile world that wishes you dead, but as you and other runners begin to explore the surface, you'll soon discover a way aboard the derelict UESC Marathon ship hanging above. Once the community unlocks the way into orbit, the fourth zone, the Cryo Archive, will become available. Prepare your mind and shell to take on this endgame zone in the Marathon ship, where you'll solve security puzzles, unseal frozen vaults, and come face to face with an entity that even the UESC fears. During the second half of March though, Ranked Mode will also unlock. On the outline, they'll share more details on the Ranked Mode when we get closer to the launch. And so essentially, Cryo Archive doesn't actually have a specific release date. It will instead essentially be unlocked by the community, probably via the third map, which is Outpost. That's the one that wasn't in the service LAN. So launch in Season 1 runs from March up until June, and that gets all of the expected launch content, including Cryo Archive and the Ranked Mode, what they call a carry event, as well as a new gun, mid-season tuning, and new implants. And then Season 2 begins in June and runs up until August. They teased that there'll be a new runner shell in June, as well as Night Marsh, which will be a nighttime version of the Dire Marsh map with additional new kind of gameplay elements. So that's the quick summary of the roadmap, but if you want to read the full thread that has additional info about what they plan for Season 2 and beyond, I will link that down below. And now, we finally get into the Destiny 2 stuff for this week. We'll start with the patch notes, and yes, it's a very small patch, but for update 9554, Bungie say the season ending timers have been updated to reflect the newly revised end of Season of the Lawless, so of course that's the June update, or what will now be the June update. Otherwise, they fixed several instances of placeholder icons for some items in collections, and the Heart Shadow ornament, Soulbright, should now correctly appear in collections. So we knew they had to update those season timers as they'd hidden them last week. And otherwise, as expected, it's a relatively small update. Now though, as we sign into the game for this week, Special Surge starts now. So Special Surge doubles special weapon damage and increases the chance of special ammo drops in portal activities. Keep in mind, that won't affect all of the Renegades content or, stuff on the destinations here, for instance. It is limited to the portal exclusively, so that'll make everyone super excited. But nonetheless, it's a bit of a boost for the week, which is nice. Quick look at the Vanguard alerts for this week. For the quick play node, PSI Eterna is the featured weapon. The Accelerated Assault Origin trait actually works on this correctly now, and you will get that trait when you complete these challenges. So if you need a good one of those, that's an option this week. Otherwise, a good shout is the featured weapon for the Grandmaster this time around, which is Exodus Crash featured. So have fun with that one. Let us know in the comments if you'll be jumping in. Otherwise, we'll get on to the Eververse stuff in just a moment. You may have noticed that I showed a marathon ornament in the thumbnail for this video. They're not available just yet, but just so you're not surprised, Bungie are adding them at some point in the future. I kind of thought maybe it would be this week since Marathon's actually launching, but clearly they have a plan to do it. Not sure when that will actually be available, but I guess we'll see. Otherwise, let's take a look at the Eververse store stuff this week, which is available. So we'll focus on Bright Dust as always. We have the another exotic emote available right here. This one's up for 3,250 Bright Dust. There is also the disallowed banner available in the store this week. That one's up for 700 Bright Dust. And then we've got the Mutable Sepia. I think that's how you say that. Wow, that's a very interesting exotic ship. Can't say I've spotted that one before. Quite bizarre, indeed. If you want to grab it, it's 2,000 Bright Dust. And then there is the Catch Flight entrance. And for the front page of shaders, we have Temperature Wash available right here. These are 300 Bright Dust as always. And Calco's Finery is also up for grabs this week. Then as we move to the main Bright Dust section here, we have the Potent Mixture available, another exotic emote up for grabs. We'll have a quick preview of it. And that one, as always, will cost 3,250 Bright Dust. There is the Joke Bang legendary emote available here as well, which is pretty curious. That one is up for 700 Bright Dust. And then we have the Ancient Splendor Shell, a rather interesting looking ghost right here with some kind of multicolored jewels on it. That's up for 2,850 Bright Dust. And then there is the Vestian Hawk, actually a somewhat interesting looking ship, I suppose, from back in Season of Defiance for 2,000 Bright Dust. But we also have the Skiff Scooter exotic sparrow from back in the day right here, if you're after some Fallen vibes. And then we've got the Foundational Structure ornament for Hardlight from back in Season of the Chosen. This was from, so that one hasn't been around for a little while in the Eververse store, and that's 1,250 Bright Dust. There's also the Witch Queen projection for 1,500 Bright Dust. And for the second page of shaders, Warbrick is up. Can't remember if that was on the front page or not. Nonetheless, they're always 300 Bright Dust. We also have First Light available this week. And moving along, there is Polished Sea Stone, which we've seen plenty of times in the Eververse store, as well as Erebus Glance available this week. So let us know if you'll grab any of those. That one can look quite nice depending on the armor, to be fair. Otherwise, we have Hive Arrival, Daito Capsule Entrance, and Ghost Purple as the Transman effects this week for 450 Bright Dust each. So let us know down below if you'll be grabbing anything from the store. And as is always the routine, we'll finish by saying a quick hello to Shader 1 down here in the annex so she doesn't get lonely. We've got the armor set from back in Season of the Splicer, I think, right here, Shadestalker set of gear. So if you've missed out on those, even for cosmetic purposes, those might be worth grabbing this week. And for the featured shaders, we have Valkyrie 0 available up first. These are 10,000 Glimmer. There is also Flowers of Io, which is the worn variant of the shader. And finally, Dead Orbit Vision, if you're after some older faction shaders. I feel like these two have been featured quite a bit. Less so for Valkyrie 0, so maybe one that some folks may want to grab. For today though, my friends, that is everything we have to round up. So, once again, if you've enjoyed the content and you want to keep up to date with Destiny 2 stuff, stay locked and loaded here on the channel. We'll be covering the next major update and all of the goings on with Bungie, their new game and how that actually performs, because of course we know it's a big deal, so we'll see how it all plays out. But for the moment, let us know if you are jumping into D2 to get anything done. I know a lot of folks are kind of jumping in for the Bright Dust stuff at the very least. Also keep in mind that Guardian Games will be dropping this month later on as well, so Bungie said the second half of the month, which knowing Bungie probably means the last week in the month. However, when we get the details on that, I'll keep you posted. Please bring back Boss Rush as well. I really hope it's a new activity and not just play the portal. But I guess we'll find out soon. For the moment, either way, cheers for tuning in, and I hope you have an awesome day.